Okay, so we left off after we had made the shop or started working on the shop. So let us head into our game instance. Let's set up a save real fast. So let's actually make a new folder. Let's call this one save. And we're going to make a new blueprint class, save game object. And this one is going to be the cookie save game object. Cookie save game object. So out of our content again, we're going to make a new folder. We're going to call this one structs. Inside of structs, we're going to make one blueprint structure. This one is going to be the bakery save struct. In here, we are going to save some things real fast. We're going to save some floats. We're going to save CPS. We're going to save cookies. And we're going to save the name. So out of our save game object now, we can add that into our variables. So this is going to be the bakery save struct. Bakery save struct on the name. Now let's head into our game instance. So out of our game instance, we're going to make a initialize event. So not custom event, sorry, event init. And on event init, we're going to do a does save game exist. We're simply going to make the save game. So this is going to be save slot name cookie. Condition. If it's false, then we're going to create save game object. Save game object is our cookie save game. No, we're not going to get it. We're going to set bakery save struct. Like so. I'm going to break that open and we're going to plug in our intel that we have here into the corresponding locations on the save game set. Once that is done, we can drag out from this again and save game to slot. These up here. And the slot is, of course, our cookie. We're going to go in reverse, so we're going to load game from slot. Slot name is our cookie. We're going to cast that to our cookie, to our save game, cookie save game. Promote that. Could have promoted it down here as well. We're going to promote it here though. So cookie save game object ref. And we're going to get the bakery save struct. Break that. And now we can set our intel to the saved intel. Those into the corresponding ones like so. Plug that in. Daisy chain them together like so. Once we are loaded in, so I'm going to move this in top right. That is now our store. Our store needs a HUD ref and such as well. So let's get into our store and then make a HUD ref. Back in our HUD, after we initialize these, now we can get our store. We can set HUD ref. Be the return of that one because it's close by. Now the store got a HUD ref, and we want to inside our store. We're gonna have a remove these and have a custom event. I'm gonna call this one generate store items, and it's gonna be in our scroll box. But we are gonna clear the children because we might want to call this again, and that way it's starting fresh again every time. Okay. We're gonna add a new in our content in our structs. We're gonna add a new blueprint struct. This one is gonna be the shop entry struct or store entry struct. Open that up. First one, we're gonna have a string. This string is gonna be here. We're gonna add a name, and we're gonna have a texture 2D. It's going to be the icon. After this, we're going to have a float, which is going to be the cost. We're going to have a boolean, which is unlocked. We're going to have an integer, which is amount owned. And then we're going to have a float, which is CPS. How much is this going to generate per? That is our store entry struct. Now we want to add in our content, in our interface, in our store, we want to add a new widget blueprint. This one is going to be our WBP store entry. Yeah, store entry. So out of store entry, we're going to have a couple things. We're going to have a border, another border. First border is going to be 2 and 2 in this one as well. Set that to the side. I'm going to have a darker brush, as you know. And then we're going to have a horizontal box out of that. And then we're going to have a image. We're going to center this one, and we're going to call this one store entry icon. I'm going to set this one to 64 by 64, so it's a little bit different. Variable, and we're going to add a vertical box into our horizontal box. Inside this vertical box, we're going to add a text. This text is going to be it's going to be variable. It's going to be store entry name text. I'm going to have a default store entry long name text, something like that. I'm going to have a font size is fine, and I'm going to make it a bit darker. And then I'm going to add the shadow of 1. Variable, everything's okay. And then I'm going to add a horizontal box inside of our vertical box. Inside, I said, of our vertical box. Everything is fine over there. I'm going to add a image inside of this horizontal. This one is going to be the cookie icon. I can't type today. It's going to be our cookie. I set this one to 32 by 32 maybe. And then I'm going to add a text inside of that box. It's going to be variable. This one is going to be the store entry cost text. Default of 9999. It's going to be a darker. Maybe a bit smaller. That. Right, so that's our cost as well. Now inside of our store, actually in our widget, we need to add our struct. So what did we call that? We called it store entry struct. So edit that and expose it. And our store needs this as well. However, our store is going to have a different version of it. Actually, should we do this in the game instance? No, we're going to do it in the store because that makes sense. So we're going to call this one store items. It's going to be our entry struct. However, this is going to be an array. We're going to get our store items. We're going to do a for each loop out of that. We're going to create widget. Our widget is our store entry. Array element is our store entry struct. Get your scroll box. We're going to add child to that scroll box. Return value is the content. Like so. So this is not going to do anything for now. However, it will a bit later. We can actually do a test though. We can add 2 of these. Just 2. Don't have to do anything special. It's out of our HUD. Do we have store entry? Store entry does need to have our HUD ref as well. So HUD ref. WBP HUD. Ah, come on. Let's make that editable and exposed. Our store has the HUD ref correct. Refresh this node. Give it from the store. Back in our HUD now. Store has the HUD ref. And then we could just do a test. So let's do that. Just generate the store items from our store like so. So now we got our store beginning to work. Inside of our store entry, go to designer. The second border, you're going to select the visibility do not hit testable, self and all children. The first one is going to be visible. Go to the graph. On the construct, we are going to do a branch. I'm going to check if the item is unlocked. Let's get the icon. Set brush from texture on the icon. If it is not available, we're going to set the brush to be set the icon to be blank. We're going to get the entry name text. We're going to set that text to be some question marks. Then we're going to get our entry cost. And we're going to set that text. Still want to see what its cost is, so we're going to still plug that in like so. Or we do need to figure out something, because now it's going to say it if it's 1, right? So what we are actually going to do is we're going to head over to our store for a quick second. We're going to add a new variable. This one is going to be selected quantity to buy. It'll be an integer. Back in our store now, we can get our href, we can get our shop, get store, get selected quantity to buy. That's not supposed to be an array. Hang on. So, selected quantity to buy, and we are going to do cost multiplied by the selected quantity that we want to buy. And that is going to be our text. What we're also going to do here is we're going to expand this. We're going to set maximal fractional to be 1. So we only get 0.1. And that's it if we are not unlocked. However, if we are unlocked, I'm going to do some couple things different. I'm going to get all of these. Actually, I'm not going to do too much different, but yeah. I'm going to set the... let's just copy this and get it somewhere. Like here, maybe. The icon comes from the icon. The name comes from the name. And we're going to do the exact same thing with the cost. So let's just yoink that. Plug in the cost. And that is our text. Again, expand this. Select max fractional to be 1. And then hit OK. Apply. It's going to show zeros, question marks and zeros, because we haven't actually set up anything. We also need a way to update this. So add a custom event called update. And plug that into the branch, like so. Now our store entries are able to be created. Another thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually go to functions and override on mouse enter. We're going to get our border. So our border, we're going to make that variable. We're going to get this color, drop it up at the top, hit OK. We're going to go to the graph. Get the border, set brush color, set it to not if it's entering, we want to set it to, I'm going to do like a green, and then back to normal. On mouse leave, oh, not mouse move. That's my bad. Move, go away, on mouse leave, leave. There. On mouse leave, we're going to set it back. So now we can hover over our entries and it's going to change color accordingly. I think that's a good way to end it as well for our second episode. In our third one, not really sure what we're going to add. We are going to add some functionality sooner or later, and we're also going to set up so that it can communicate with the internet in order to get a offline time and calculate that. But that's not going to be in this episode. That's going to be in a couple episodes. Okay, until next time. Bye-bye.